quiet seaside town, an evil lain to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello.
Hey.
I told you last week I was going to start
That's
doing
canon
alienating
now.
hellos. That was an incredibly alienating hello, right?
That really was.
Yeah, you don't want to listen to this. This sucks. Nobody wants to listen to this podcast now.
I'm so sorry to every person who got through the intro music and ended up with that.
Hi, I'm Lars Casteen. Welcome to Tabletop Gold, The Roots of Ruin, episode 152. Nice to see you. I'm joined today, as always, by Armat Humphreys.
Hello, good that time.
Good that time. Robin Lange.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That is
Alienating
alienating. It's bad.
Damn it.
And Zoe Chernicoff is here.
Hi.
And David, the Tin Man Chernicoff.
Good
is
that
also
time.
here.
I greet you normally out of respect for the listener.
Yes. Thank you for that. Somebody is doing the right thing.
I'm just
around
trying
here.
to
Somebody has standards.
Thank goodness
Yeah.
for David and Armat.
maintain.
Can I try something real quick? This may be alienating. Just a
Okay.
warning.
Okay.
Good that
Mm.
time.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sort of halfway in, halfway
That's
out
going to
on
be
that.
my new
I'm
character.
kind of into it.
You're kind of into it. We are going to get into what I think should be a very interesting episode of our podcast tonight. Where the game is going to have some interesting things in it, I think. I think it's going to be a good time. Before we do that, though, everybody, we are going to deal with a topic that David brought to the table, and I don't really know what it is that we're talking about. So let's just see what that is. David, what are we talking about today?
So, what I want to talk about is the children's television program Bluey.
Lots of Bluey discourse these days. Everyone's thinking about Bluey. I'm glad to see how we are going to contribute to this conversation.
I think I may, believe it or not, in spite of the incredibly high volume of Bluey discourse on the internet, have a fresh Bluey take.
I'm so excited.
So for those of you who don't know, you don't have children. For those of you who don't know, Bluey is a short form cartoon show. Each episode is approximately 6-ish minutes in length. Bluey is a dog, a blue healer who is a 6-year-old, and she has a little 4-year-old dog sister whose name is Bingo. Each episode of Bluey is named after a game that is played by either the two girls in the family or most frequently the entire family, or at least one adult member of the family and one or both children in the family. It's very creative, inventive play. Usually, we're all pretending to be in a restaurant, and it's called Fancy Restaurant. Or we're all pretending to be statues that are magical and move around, and it's called Museum or whatever, this kind of thing. Okay, I was watching Bluey the other day, and all of a sudden it hit me like a bolt of lightning a week ago. This show is an actual play show.
Okay. Yeah.
You are introduced to a game. You
Yeah.
watch them play it,
Yeah.
and the story of the episode unfolds by watching these people play a game. It is the most ubiquitous and universally popular actual play. Now it's scripted, so that's different. But it is
But
the
So is this show.
this show is very tightly scripted.
can I provide some additional behind the scenes context that bolsters your argument that Bluey is an actual play show?
Please.
The main creative guy on that show, whose name is something like Brum, Daniel Brum, David Brum. Is that
Sure.
the
Joe
dude's
Brum?
name?
That sounds right.
Joe Brum.
Yep.
He has in many interviews talked about how that show is basically he just sits down, plays games with his family, transcribes what happens, and then formats that into an episode.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the show itself is scripted, but according to the creators of Bluey, it is at least an adaptation of actual imaginative play that a real family has engaged in.
Oh, and I
So.
totally believe that.
Yeah.
If you have children and you have watched that show, I mean, I believe that like the writers of that show are not verbatim pulling incidents in their lives, but like clearly someone has something happen and they build a show around like, and it's like it itself feels sort of real life improvisational on top of the game element.
Yeah.
So this all tracks to me.
Yeah.
I guess more what I'm trying to say is I think part of the appeal of the show is the same as the appeal of an actual play show. The kind of like immersion in this activity and watching this group of people. And after a while, you kind of get to know the characters on this show, kind of working their way through a game, a rule set, a situational thing, even if you're kind of learning it on the fly. And part of the joy comes from like watching the game being played, and part of the joy comes from watching these people do it.
You get to be like, that's so bingo that Bingo just did that. Bingo is just bingoing this whole thing up right on this episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Armat, Robin, Hugh, are you tempted to watch the show? Like, has the Bluey discourse gotten to you enough that you're like, everyone's talking about this Bluey. Maybe I should watch a Bluey. Or no?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm,
I would
I'll check
not.
it out.
I would not turn on Bluey myself.
Mm.
However, I have multiple friends who have children, and that seems like a non-offensive thing to have on in the background, like that the kid is watching. I have seen an awful lot of Cars.
Yes.
The entire movie series and all of the shorts due to friends with children.
Yeah.
We have also a lot of theories about the Cars universe.
Robin, who's mining the gasoline for the cars?
Right?
Where's the fossil fuel coming from?
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
How
What's
can
the
there be
fundamental energy source?
How can there be car dinosaurs when petroleum comes from dinosaurs?
We'll have to do a whole other chat
I
session
think
about
they all photosynthesize.
That's a great point. Are all the cars in the Cars universe actually plants?
They're plants.
Think about it.
Yeah.
That's the only answer that makes any sense, guys.
It's the most universally popular plant-based movie franchise.
I wish all of us had seen Bluey. David's sister, listener of the show, hi Ann, how you doing? Recently introduced us to the idea, for those who, I think, again, more parents than not, that everyone has one true Bluey that sort of like expresses you spiritually. So if we'd all seen it, we could do that. But since we haven't.
There's 150 6-minute episodes. I believe that statement.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine is Date Night.
Oh.
Date Night expresses me. The one where their parents go on a date and then I don't want to spoil it.
No, yeah.
Nothing
You
happened.
got it.
We just watched that one last night.
That's right.
I love it. I love Date Night.
Mine, ironically, turns out to be one of the newer episodes, which is called, was it David Relax? The family takes a trip to the beach and mom is having trouble relaxing. But here's the problem. I've never actually seen the whole episode because every time it comes on, I get distracted and do something else.
I'm like, babe,
Wow,
this is
that's
the one.
perfect.
This is the one
He's
to watch.
like, you should really watch this. And I'm like, yeah, just a second.
Yeah. Then
That's,
2.5 minutes later,
that's beautiful.
work messages come in, and so it's like, no, yeah, this seems like a good one, but it's
It seems really on point.
mine is Takeaway.
So there we are.
Takeaway. That's a one shot, that takeaway.
Mhm.
It's a locked off camera and all the action happens in one place, like a Buster Keaton sort of situation.
That's right.
It's a good one. You know what else is a good one?
Yeah.
You know what else is a good one? Is our game.
Love our game.
What do you say? What do you say we get into it? Let's play our game.
Let's go mess up some wisps.
During your exploration of the dungeons below Gauntlet and the surrounding swamp, you've repeatedly encountered creatures collectively known as wisps in a variety of settings. Flicker wisps on the collapsed drawbridge connecting Gauntlet's keep to the outside world. Corpse lights in Belcora Haravex's dining room, reanimating the skeletons of dinner guests that she poisoned shortly before she herself was slain by the heroes of the Rose Guard. Willow wisps tormenting Lasda Vankervale as his energy was drained to power a dread beam of void energy. These creatures all bear some similarities. Underneath their pulsating lights and eerie moans, their spongy, featureless orbs that feed on the fear of their victims and lure them to peril and death. You're currently sharing the room with a quartet of will-o-wisps that was each hidden above a basin containing reeds and brackish, disgusting swamp water. Those wisps have all been watching you like 4 disembodied eyes, tracking your movement around the room. And now, they've detached from these swamp basins and are floating towards you with malevolence. I want to ask you guys a question. What do you think is going on here? Like, either you as players or your characters, like, these wisps have emerged from these basins that have been placed into alcoves. Like, what do you make of that?
Can I jump on that?
Please.
I was just thinking one of the last things we encountered on the last floor was a scrying pool where a wisp could communicate with Belcora. So rather than little like bog mummy brewing vats, I think that these may well be communications, scrying pools for speaking with Belcora, maybe.
Are they scrying pools for others to use, or are the wisps the one? Are they her sort of personal spy? They're like her secret service or something.
Yeah, the latter I think was where my mind goes. I think that's a good call.
Like when she wants someone personally who's going to report directly to her, wants to put eyes on something. She has a pool of water and puts a wisp in it.
Also in this room, you spotted scorch marks that you were able to tell were where 2 of these calignes, these humanoid creatures that you fought a couple of rooms away. It looks like they blew up here. What do you make of that?
I initially, when we came in, thought some sort of battle must have taken place here, and they died in that. But
yeah.
I guess, did we ever see them sneeze?
Great point. It's a great point.
Please continue.
That was great.
Well, just that maybe when they sneeze, they blow up.
We should have made one of them sneeze before we killed all of them, just like just to test it out.
Next time.
You think if they wanted to blow up to like go back to Earthagal, they would just constantly keep like pollen around them.
Right. I make a non-lethal strike and then I throw a handful of pollen in its face.
Do we have pepper?
Yeah. It's in the seasonings.
Right.
You have level 5 pepper.
Level 5 pepper.
Oh, that's some spicy pepper.
That's good.
So yeah, what's the
like
DC
some
on
Pondicherry pepper there, right there?
A level 7 monster sneeze? If you only have level 5 pepper.
It's Otari level 5 pepper, but in Absalom it's only level 2 pepper. So.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. They've got access to, Garundi spices. It's going to be a whole different
That's like
level.
when you go into the restaurant and they ask you if you want it Thai spicy, because they're like, everything you've known as spicy is not really spicy.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Well, these creatures have just detached from these basins and are going. And I would like it if you could please now roll for initiative.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, baby, I think we're going to flip that.
David, if you would like to, you can use your swamp lore check that you rolled while you were investigating these wisps. I'm happy to let you roll that check, and also for Ao to roll her check in if that's what you want to do.
Okay. It's a slightly worse modifier, but the novelty of it is too much for me. So I'm going to roll swamp lore for initiative.
Wait, you're saying what can I roll?
The perception check. Ao and Mag both noticed these wisps moving around.
Oh, okay.
So I'm saying you noticed them enough to see them, right? Like they were not hidden from you. So I'm happy to go ahead and just roll those checks forward into your initiative to give you to sort of tell the story of they were on top of it and that's the story. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Lars, do I have to say this before we find out? Because it's when I roll initiative is when I get my cool feat.
Your battle
So do I have
cry.
to do that before everyone gives their initiative roll?
Yeah,
number?
we're gonna do it right now is what we're gonna do.
So Trill's standing in front of one of these as one of these wisps come up. And as we all know, Trill is terrified of wisps. Trill hates wisps. Trill's been haunted by wisps. But I picture I picture Trill shaking a little bit. Because she looks around and she sees these 4 wisps coming up. It's not just one that she's got to deal with. She's surrounded by them. And this feels like her perfect version of hell. So I'm going to demoralize using my versatile performance. And let's see how Trill does. She's targeting the one directly in front of her. And that's at 37.
Okay.
Versus Will DC. That is a critical success.
Ooh.
So this creature that feeds on fear is terrified of you. They become frightened too as they hear this music. They're like,
That's fright.
and now, as this wisp becomes frightened, let's go around the horn and see how everybody's initiative roll went. Armat, how did Istin do?
Not great. Clearly his hangover is getting to him. I got a 7 on the die for a 19.
You've been so slow all day, dude.
I knows it. I knows it. But you gotta worship Kate and Kalian in the way that suits him, you know?
Yeah, by taking your time.
Exactly.
Robin, you said Trill is frightened. How did she, or flavor frightened? How did she do on her initiative check?
So Trill, I think, in shouting, kind of got a little distracted as well. So she only got a 20 in the end. It was not a great roll.
Okay. And how did Zoe do? Zoe, how did Ao do? Oh, yeah. Well, I said that you could roll your initial perception in. So,
Which was a 29. So she's looking around. She's feeling good. She says, "Come at me, wisps."
all right, Ao ready to rock. And how did Mag do, David?
It's a 30 for Mag.
Okay. Very, very fast. Very, very quick. That's your swamp lore check.
Yes.
So yeah, Mag, when she was checking out what is the swampiness of this thing, she clocked the wisps tracking her movement immediately and is ready to jump off the starting blocks before basically any other creatures are, except one wisp is a little bit faster. One more thing I want to do, a little bit of business before we jump into the encounter. I know somebody was scouting, so that means that Isthin's placement in the battle tracker is going to get moved up one notch because Isthin tied with the slowest of the will-o-wisps. So,
No, all right.
Everything's coming up.
We'll take it.
Everything's coming up, Isthin. Let's go. We're going to hit round 1, and here's the situation. The 4 of you are all standing in this strange alcove-lined chamber. And on the far north and far south sides of this room, there are 2 wisps each converging upon you. Trill and Mag are right smack dab between these wisps, so they're in a potentially really dangerous place when this combat is starting off, but Ao and Isthin are both on the far western edge, with a little more space to get comfortable in. The very first combatant off the block here at the top of round 1 is this will-o-wisp on the far northeastern side of the room. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to go dark so they become invisible. as the light surrounding this wisp dissipates and they disappear from sight.
So mad my initiative roll was so low.
And now they are going to attempt to sneak to get away from you and to be somewhere that you're not expecting. So this is a 22 versus everybody's perception DC. I don't think that does enough to get past Trill. So what that means, or Mag. So I think everybody can see this wisp as it, or can't see it, but they can hear it as it slowly and silently creeps up behind Trill to set up a flank. The next thing that they're going to do is prepare to aid the wisp on the far side of Trill when that wisp gets ready to attack. It is now Mag's turn. As Mag sees one of these wisps go dark, what is she going to do?
Mag doesn't like the look of the wisps swarming around Trill. So she's first going to step to a position that now puts her within reach of 3 of the 4 of them. That's going to be action 1. Action 2, I will rage. And action 3, I'm going to try and hit the one that just moved initially and that is now invisible with the Earthbreaker, which for those of you who don't remember is a giant hammer. That is not great. So I first needed to throw a flat check because this thing is invisible. And it's only a 5 on the flat check, and that fails.
Yeah. So this thing manages to weave out of the way as your Earthbreaker slices through the air right behind Trill.
You know what? Let's just flavor it and say that was the action 2, and action 3 is raging, because swinging and missing makes Mag so very upset.
Quick question, Lars.
Sure.
Didn't you say that it first had to pass a perception check for everyone and that it didn't...
Right. So when it turned invisible, it became hidden. What it was trying to do was sneak so that you wouldn't even know where it was.
Okay.
It failed on that, so it's still invisible, but you guys all know that it's right behind Trill.
Okay.
So you still have to pass the flat check because it's invisible, but
Thank you for explaining.
You're luckily able to know where it is, basically.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So Ao sees Mag step forward, swing and miss, and it is now her turn. What are you going to do?
Ao has had her kukri in her hand that she's sort of like scraping around at stuff with. She is going to cross the room to be on the other side of the wisp from Trill. And then she is going to... I have a gallows tooth.
Yeah.
Let's activate that. Why not? I always have these things attached to my weapons, and I use them so many levels late that they basically do nothing. So I'm probably, 2-3 levels late now?
I think you're right on time on this one, to be honest. I think you picked a good time for it.
What's a tooth? It's always the right time for a tooth. So she activates the gallows tooth on the kukri. It's a grisly molar hanging from a corded thread. And if I make a melee strike against an adjacent creature, it is off guard to the strike until the end of my turn, which is handy.
Okay.
Bow chicka wow wow.
Bow chicka wow wow.
So she is going to make 2 stabby stabs at this creature.
Best kind of stab.
So the gallows tooth takes 1 action to manipulate, or it
then
takes
I just
1
make
action to activate.
Then 1
Okay.
stabby. All right. The flat check was a 13.
Extremely lucky, you got it.
Few. And then a 35 to hit.
That's a critical hit because this creature is off guard.
Woohoo. How about that?
Cool.
That's awesome.
That is 36 points of damage, it would appear.
Yeah, that is a
Whoa.
nasty bit of damage there.
Dang.
36 points of damage to the Will-O-Wisp, which shudders and like, totally thrown off by that. You also inflict bleed. Do we think a will-o-wisp takes bleed damage? The system does, so let's say they do. They've got something in there that can bleed out of them. That's
bleed light,
like ichor, right? Some ichor comes out of them.
Yeah, there you go. And Zoe, you also gain a D8 of temporary hit points.
6. I get 6 hit points. Look at me.
Temp hit points. I'll go ahead and add that for you. Those go away before any of the other hit points go. So that's it for Ao. Ao steps forward, activates a talisman, and gets a critical hit on a will-o-wisp. And now the will-o-wisp behind Mag flutters to life. Floats up behind Mag and targets her with a jolt of electricity as it's flanking with its friend.
Does its movement into my thing constitute a stride? Does it trigger a reactive strike?
Reactive strike is if something in your reach uses a move action.
Right,
it was over
right.
here when it used the move action, or if something in your reach leaves a space during a move action.
Yeah.
So that's like if it were to go past to here.
But it's only coming to...
Or if it were to go... Exactly. Yeah. So I just rolled a 35 to hit Mag.
Yeah, a 35 crits Mag, in fact. That's...
Because Mag is raging, that is a critical hit. 22 points of electricity damage course through Mag. And I have one more action. And what I'm going to do is this wisp goes dark. It turns itself invisible.
Time for some fairy fire. Am I right?
That would be correct.
You're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
You right.
That would most certainly be correct.
So it is now Trill's turn. Trill is right in the middle of the action. There is an invisible wisp behind her, a scared wisp in front of her, and the rest of her friends are rushing to her aid. But she is surrounded by her least favorite enemy, basically. What is Trill going to do?
So Trill kind of turns within herself, like she gets... all of her limbs seem to like turn in, kind of. She's got her loot in front of her, and she gets in real tight, and she squeezes her eyes shut, and she's going to try and do... And so as she squeezes her eyes shut, though, she does some kind of fancy plucking work on her loot that she's just able to mindlessly do, and cast Fairy Fire to begin.
All right.
I guess I'll put it on top of Mag, actually, that burst. I think that's more... gets everyone more specifically.
That burst is enough to hit 3 of the 4 wisps. It does not get the one down here in the lower corner, but I don't think there is a way for you to get all of them.
Oh, because interesting. This burst now goes in like this in the like axis, not in the center of the square.
Yeah, bursts always go on vertices.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. So the 2 that are invisible are now concealed instead of invisible.
Okay,
and
least, that's
right?
obviously a huge benefit to you guys, and is potentially is the end of this wisp behind you.
Gosh, I hope so.
That is 2 actions from Trill.
And for Trill's third action, she is in a bad spot. I'm trying to decide if I think she's going to end up moving. Sorry, she's no longer going to help Ao flank, but Ao's not going to go again for a while.
Seems like Trill would nope out of there if she finds herself in the midst of like a hive of wisps.
Yeah, so Trill's going to move over kind of next to Iston, and she doesn't need to tumble through or anything, although apparently she could, because she's apparently very good at that, even though she never tries to. She's going to race over next to where Iston is right now.
Okay.
And that's Trill's turn.
Okay, magical light illuminates these enemies, and Trill runs towards Iston. It's now Iston's turn. Iston, what are you going to do?
I think he's going to run right back away from Trill and put himself into the combat. So he's going to roll up towards the westmost wisp. Say that 5 times fast.
Roll up towards the westmost wisp. I couldn't do it. I messed it up. I said wisp.
Westmost. Yeah, it gets you. Guys, remind me, wisps are immune to magic, right? Am I remembering that correctly?
The only thing they're not immune to is fairy fire, magic missile, and one other specific thing, which we don't have, but it does the same thing as fairy fire.
It's so funny. These 3 spells that they're not immune to are like the 3 most remastered ass spells in the thing. Fairy Fire is now Fairy Fire and Glitter Dust are now combined to Revealing Light. Magic Missile is now Force Barrage. Maze,
Force Barrage.
which used to teleport you into a maze, is now Quandary and teleports you inside of a puzzle box.
Ooh.
So- Yeah,
Hey, that might
fun?
be an upgrade.
It's right. It's not called. So I'm still seeing fairy fire on all my
Yeah, because
sheets.
it's an old spell. We kept it. We didn't.
What's the
update
new name?
It. Revealing Light.
Revealing Light. I believe that's about Chicka Wow Wow.
Oh yeah, it is. Thank you. Thank you for keeping me honest, Robin.
Gotta give
All right,
Zoe
sorry.
musical credit.
Istin,
Thank
yeah. Every time
Cool.
I hit that drop, Zoe gets another $10,000.
It's
really paid
How
off.
did she get you to sign that contract?
It's ASCAP. It's part of it. There was the musicians union in the 20s. They did it. It's a problem.
I mean, that feels like somehow like one of the devils were involved.
Absolutely.
That's a good contract.
Yeah. Absolutely, it is. Okay, sorry, Armit. You can take your turn.
All right. So Istin is going to use one of his studious spells to cast Sure Strike remastered name there.
God damn it! 10 more
$10,000.
10 more
Okay.
K.
That's
Oh.
these kids to college.
Keep it coming.
Yeah, I'm just here to, make sure keep you guys in bluey. You know what I mean?
Thank
Like,
you.
Yeah.
In the bluey. That's what
Yeah.
that means, right?
Then, because his last action was a spell, he's going to drop into his Arcane Cascade stance, which will then, I believe, let him use force damage.
Okay.
And then he is just going to make a regular strike at that concealed, not hidden wisp. It is a 29 to hit, thanks to the Sure Strike.
Yes, that 29 to hit is a hit by just a skosh.
Hey, I will take a skosh. And boom, 18 damage, 16 bludge, and 2 force.
Okay, a big hit against one of these wisps, and it is now the turn of this wisp that was. Did I not? Does this frightened wisp never get a turn? Did I not add it to the combat
I put that
tracker?
in the chat, actually. You only put 3 out of the 4 wisps in initiative.
Well,
It's so
looky,
frightened.
looky.
I hate to say
So
it.
frightened they're going to go last in the thing. That happens sometimes. Okay, here we go. So the wisp that is just to the south of Mag is going to try to see what sort of advantage it can get. It doesn't have a ton that it can work with here. But it doesn't like that it has cover between it and Mag, so it is going to float up into Mag's face.
Well, floating up into Mag's
I believe-
face, that sounds like the sort of thing that triggers a reactive strike.
I believe you're right.
Okay.
Yes.
But this strike does have cover because you're targeting it before it moved, basically.
Mm.
So the creature has a +2 to their AC for this strike.
Don't need the flat check. That is a nice roll. Okay, 34 to hit.
That hits and gets around the cover, no problem.
All right, and that is 21 damage.
Okay, so it's flying slightly off kilter as it gets up in Mag's face and tries to, reeling from the strike from the Earthbreaker, tries to shock Mag. And that is a 1.
Lars, sorry to
What's up?
drag you back again in a minute, but I think that also triggers a reactive strike from Istin.
Okay, let's do it. Let's go
Reach
ahead
is a
and
good
get
feat.
that reactive strike from Istin, and then I'll roll this fumble card, and then I'll just stop playing.
Alrighty, that is a 35 to hit.
That hits.
Well, that's good to know. 15 damage.
Okay, so this creature gets hit
Thank you.
twice, and then flies right in Isthan's face. And here comes a fumble card. Here's what I drew. I drew the 2 of diamonds. The diamonds means that this effect comes from its upper body, which it doesn't have because it's a ball. And the 2 means that it becomes clumsy too. So I'm not even going to bother describing how that works. It gets shellacked twice by the 2 of you, is off kilter, messes up its strike, is clumsy too, and that is the end of that.
Rather than the little birdies that like spin around someone's head, I imagine a wisp would just have other little
tiny little wisps
spinning around its head.
Of wisps.
Tiny wisps.
And the next thing that this wisp is going to do is attempt to demoralize Mag. So it gets in Mag's face and goes, 19 on the die, a 31 to demoralize Mag.
And that's against
versus
Will. Yeah.
Will DC.
Okay, so that definitely succeeds. It is not a critical success.
Okay. So Mag is now frightened 1, and the last of these wisps goes. It is going to float up behind Mag. This is the one that Trill frightened with her song earlier on. And it is going to try to take advantage of the flanking that it has with Mag to shock once. Towards Mag. 21 to hit.
21 is not going to do it.
Okay.
That is too low a roll.
And then it is going to turn invisible, which means that it is now concealed as it disappears from sight, but the fairy fire lets you continue to see it as it is concealed and invisible. And here at the beginning of round 2, it's the kind of situation that you love to see as a GM. Everyone is spreading their damage around to every ding-dong enemy around the place, and I get to play with all of my toys for one more turn. So there you go. These wisps, all of them various levels of injured, are floating and bobbing around the room, some of them covered with fairy fire, some of them just clumsy from being a dork. And Trill is on the far side of the room watching this melee in the middle of this alcoved room. First up is the first wisp that went, this invisible wisp that is bleeding thanks to Ao's strike from the kukri. They're going to rub themselves all over Mag's body in this kind of upsetting way. They go...
Can you show us what that would look like?
Yeah, they go like... that.
Oh, God.
It's like a mangy dog.
So kind of like a cursed Nuzzle.
Yes, exactly. They're going to regain 2d4 hit points as they feed on Mag's fear, and then they reignite. They are now no longer invisible. Then they are going to fly towards the basin on the far side, flying away from Ao, flying to the basin on the south side of the room, and they start shaking in a weird way over the swamp water. They go like, just like shaking like almost like a dog shaking water out of its fur. It's a strange pattern of like twitch, 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 as it's sort of shaking around. That's it for its turn, but at the end of its turn, it is going to bleed. It takes a ton of bleed damage thanks to Ao. It's going to try to recover from the bleed. It rolls a 3, which does not get the job done, and it is now Mag's turn. Mag, flanked by wisps in the middle of this action, what is Mag gonna do?
Mag's interpretation of what the wisp is doing is that it is trying to communicate a message via the water portal. If our current interpretation as a group and as a party is that these are communication devices and the wisp either is part of the device or is doing the communicating, this kind of like odd, irregular pattern. I don't know. Mag thinks it's Wisp Morse code, basically. So she is very, very focused on that one that just went into that basin. She will start. It's been popped a couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah, it's floating. It's flying in really off kilter askance.
Okay. So there's some reason to think one hit against it might do the job. I was thinking about grabbing it, but I'm just going to try to finish it off instead. And that's a 34 to hit it.
That hits even with the cover that it has.
Okay. And 25 damage, which I imagine is going to do it.
Yes. So this creature is like twitching, and Mag just like slams it, and this like residue of strange light sprays across the room, and it falls down into the basin, dead.
In that moment, can Mag see whether the basin looks any different than it did before? Is the basin moving, glowing? Does this require a perception check and an action to do, or?
Not at all. It doesn't require that. You look at the basin, you don't see anything like that at all.
Okay. Then Mag is going to take a strike at the wisp that's to her west. It's between her and Isthen. So let's do that with action number 2. It's only a 17.
That misses, yes. It weaves out of the way as the Earthbreaker flies towards it.
All right. So in that event, we'll step over to the other side. No, I have to tumble through. Okay, I'll just step up so that I'm flanking the invisible one. Isthen and I are now flanking the invisible one. That seems like as good an idea as any. That's my turn.
Okay, so Ao sees Mag knock one of these wisps into the basin that it was levitating above, and then reposition to get in a better place with Isthen. Ao, you notice, like you said, this frightened wisp to the south of you. What are you going to do?
So I think she just takes one stride forward and goes to stab the scared wisp. All right, that was an 18 on the flat check,
Which passes,
but a 20 to hit.
and that misses. It slides out of the way as you slash out towards it.
Well, I think frustrated, she's going to take another stab at the thing.
Okay.
That's a 19 on the flat check. Doing great on flat checks, but an 18 to hit.
Yeah, when I saw that, I thought it was the other way around, and I was like, here we go. But no, Ao has a bead on this creature, but just isn't able to land the hit. And as Ao steps forward and slashes twice, it is now the turn of the Will-O-Wisp between Mag and Isthen. The first thing it's going to do is attempt to fly around Mag to get the flank on her.
All right. I will take the reactive strike. I have to pass a flat check to do it, yeah?
Yeah, but it's a DC 5 flat check because of Trill's Fairy Fire,
Okay.
so it's not the hardest thing in the world.
Okay. All right, the flat check, that's an 11, so that passes, but it's only a 20 to hit. Yikes.
That misses. How about Isthen? Is Isthen going to do... Oh, or do you don't have one? You're all out.
I was just thinking about that.
Fantastic.
Hasn't been my turn yet.
Okay, this wisp gets around Mag, dodges one of these strikes, and starts getting to work on Ao to try to shock her. That is a 20 on the die. You gotta draw.
Has someone given us something to...
Nice. I'm drawing the top card on our crit deck. Is there something I should be... Is there a hero point card?
Never mind. No,
Okay.
This specifically doesn't allow for crit hits.
I am drawing a card from the crit deck. Is it going to be the Ace of Spades? Let's see. It's
No.
the 3 of Spades. And Armat, you sing the 3 of Spades song now?
The 3 of Spades!
Okay, great. So that's just going to be regular double damage towards Ao. a phenomenal damage roll for 36 points of damage. And it's going to do that again. It continues shocking her. It's just insistent upon bringing Ao down. And here we go. Fumble card. Feast or famine with this one, guys.
Ups or downs.
I drew the 8 of clubs, which in our crit deck means clubs. Something below me has made me off guard.
Oh.
And I have to spend an action to not be off guard anymore, which sucks. So, Trill, you see this wisp fly around Mag, dodge a strike, and then land a massive hit on Ao before bobbling and going completely in a strange angle that it is incapable of maintaining in a responsible way. And it is now Trill's turn.
I'm trying to decide what level, how much we need here. Do I just go pew, pew, pew? Or do I Courageous Anthem first?
I don't know. What do you think?
Okay, you know what? I think Trill, in her corner of solitude and fear, is going to send out some Force Barrage. Let's do... Lars, remind me. Is it at level 3 where it goes up to the heightened?
Yeah. Force Barrage, when it hits level 3, it does 2 darts per action rather than 1.
Okay, I'm actually going to do first level just because I don't have a lot of third level spell slots left. So I'll do all 3 actions. So I'm going to just target the 2 that are in a straight line in front of her.
Okay.
And let's see how this goes. So one gets 4 points of damage and the other gets 7 points of damage.
As Trill lets a barrage of force darts across the room, all of these wisps are still standing or floating around, though. Both of these.
Not the most influential turn, but something happened.
Something happened.
And Trill's still kind of quavering in the corner.
So as Trill, in fear, lets off a gout of force needles, it is now Isthin's turn.
Alrighty. So I think he's going to just make a strike against the shell-shocked one. Start there. See if 28 to hit.
28 definitely hits.
Lovely.
Exciting.
And 16 damage.
16 damage is enough for Isthin to feel his staff pushing through the wisp, slamming it down into the ground, and it explodes in a shower of sparks and light.
Awesome. And then he's going to launch a second strike at the one flanking Ao. Map 5. There we go. Flat check is 11, so I believe that passes.
That passes.
And then a 24 to hit.
You missed it by 1.
Oh, man.
So that
Courageous
Courageous Anthem.
There.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, that's all right.
That would have been the better thing to do than the 7 points of damage, probably.
I don't know.
You live and
7
you
points
learn.
of damage is nothing to turn one's nose up at.
I would never turn my nose up at 7 points of damage. Are you kidding me?
Exactly. It can eat crackers on the couch, is what I'm saying.
I let 7 points of damage eat crackers all over the place.
Yeah. Wherever in my home, 7
Absolutely.
points of damage is welcome, encouraged, and treated like a respected guest. Anyway, that's Isthin's turn.
All right, Isthin steps forward, slams one of the wisps down to the ground, and misses the other one. Now, the wisp on the far side of Ao, this is the one that is still slightly frightened, is going to try to take advantage of this flanking situation and is going to try to shock Ao again. That is a 27 to hit.
Just hits.
And here we go. 2d8 plus 4 electricity damage, 18 points of damage to Ao, and it's going to do it
You know what?
again. What's that?
How do we... I think I'd like to use the hero point card I was considering before. Yeah, let's do it. This comes from Schadenfred. Great name. Love it. The card name is
Fred.
This Is My Design. A creature rolls a success and a melee attack against me. I think we can agree that has happened. Not a crit success, which is why I couldn't do it before. You fool, I let you hit me. You played right into my hands, literally. I chose to let this happen. I think we can all agree AO might say something like that, whether she did it or not. I move my body to absorb some of the blow, and I try to trap your arm, limb, offending appendage. I don't know, ray of light, whatever the appropriate thing is here. So I get a resistance 5 to the attack damage type, and I get to try and grab you as a reaction.
Right. So you resist 5 points of this electricity damage, so you take only 13 points. And if you'd like to, you can attempt to grab me. I will warn you, if you don't have good athletics, there is a chance that I might grab you in return.
You know, I actually have okay athletics. I feel like with a fun hero card like this, I gotta try. Even if I wind up grabbed, you know? Lean in,
Totally.
as
That's what that
as a
book is
woman
about.
once said.
Yep.
Oh, that was a 19 on the die for
Hey.
29.
29 versus you're grabbing me?
Yeah.
Versus my fortitude DC, because I'm frightened, is a critical success,
Ooh.
which means you have restrained me, which
Oh,
sucks. That's bad.
I love this for me. I don't think I've ever grabbed anything in this game.
Oh, it's the best. You got to do it. It's the best part of the game.
It's just grabbing stuff.
Restrained sucks. So I'm off guard. I'm immobilized. I can't use any attack or manipulate actions except to attempt to escape. And that's it. Like I can't even attack you. I just have to get out. It's bad. It's rotten. It sucks. Nicely done.
excellent.
Thank you,
May you-
Schadenfred. Fred.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Fred.
Thank you,
Fun
Fred.
Game, Fred.
That was awesome.
So here comes escape at a -5 map. I rolled a 2 on the die for a 14. That's going to fail.
Okay.
I'm going to escape again. Maybe I'll roll a 20. I roll a 14 on the die for a 21.
Oh. Boo.
I'm free. I
Wow.
lived.
I wasted 2 of your actions.
Oh, no, it was
Yeah.
incredible. It was the
Yeah,
best.
That's huge.
Essentially slowed him. That was great.
That is the end of round 2. And here we are at the top of round 3. Everyone, except for Trill, is still battling it out. But basically, Istin, Mag, and Ao are just wading through combat with these two as Trill is offering support from a distance. It is Mag's turn. What is Mag going to do?
The one standing to my southeast, which is south of AO, is
Yeah.
getting slammed down.
All right. Oh my
Well,
God.
pass the flat check, which is too bad.
I just drew from the fumble deck the King of Clubs, which is what they called me in my 20s.
I like it.
Clubs means that something
You're
happens below you that reduces all of your speeds by 5 feet. What do you think happened, David?
I think the terrain here is all messed up from where those exploding cultists exploded before. So yeah, it's scuffed up Mag's boots, and so she's moving. It's too slow. Her shoelace got caught on the pumice-like texture.
A scuffy boot and a caught shoelace will ruin your day any day of the week.
Yeah. So that means I can't move as much this turn. You're telling me.
Correct.
So I have only one action left. And and that's both of those are going to hit my map?
I don't think so. You didn't do the trip,
didn't do
so
the
I don't
trip.
think that affects your map.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just try a regular strike on this same friend. That's more like it. All right. Pass the flak check. We're going to 16, and then it's a 30 to hit.
Yes. Hit.
Damage.
Finally.
Here comes
Nice.
that Joe DiMaggio. Yeah, pretty hefty damage roll. 28 damage.
Okay, huge damage roll. This wisp, just from that one hit, looks extremely damaged. And as Mag scuffs her boot and slams a wisp, it is now Ao's turn.
This is tricky because the friend to the south who Mag just hit, I feel like it and I are in a bit of a moment, but the friend to the north is the one that's off guard, who, like, strategically speaking, would be the better hit.
For sure.
Nah, Ao's a petty lady. All right, I think just still frustrated. She's been zapped by this thing. I think maybe her hair is a little singed on the ends. She reaches out and slashes again with the kukri to the one to the south, which is the less strategically sound but more vendetta-driven.
You hate this one. Ao
I hate this
has
one.
had it with this wisp that critically hit her.
Well, that's a 2 on the flat check.
That too means that you miss the concealment and you slice at nothing.
The idea that at this point, a thing I was grabbing like 2 seconds ago, I wouldn't know where it was. I've got to be honest, it sort of defies belief.
All you're seeing are these little speckly, cloudy little bits of light that Trill has manifested on top of it. You're looking at a weird, a cloud of gold in front of you. It's not so. I mean, it's magic. But yes.
All right. I think then, confused by what's happening, maybe she's sort of like the momentum of missing, like she swings wildly, can't find it. And so, like, pivoting on her heels, she takes a second stab at the one to the north, the one that's off guard.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, it's a 10 on the flat check. But a 1 on the die. This is really turning.
This sucks. Can you guys kill these?
Yeah, we just want to kill
I
them.
would love
really
to.
like to.
I've been trying to.
7-0 hearts is what we're talking about, y'all. What that means is that something in your lower body is giving you a weakness to all damage equal to half of your level. You are now weak 4 to all damage.
Holy
Oh,
crow.
wow.
That's a
Yeah,
bummer.
that's rough.
Feeling like, all hope is lost and she's not sure what on earth to do, she pulls out a scroll.
Okay. And just to remind you, the way this homebrew fumble card thing works is you can spend an action to get rid of anything that the fumble deck gives you. But
Nah, she's too pissed.
cool. And now the wisp to Ao's immediate north is going to go. This wisp is going to spend an action to clear the off-guard condition and is going to light up Ao because Ao is being flanked by it. So here comes a strike, a shock. That is a 29 to hit.
That'll hit.
And it is going to do 14 points of electricity damage, which is going to be 18 points because Ao is weak 4 to all damage. Here comes
Suppose I asked for that in a way.
a second shock. This one is a 20 to hit.
That is going to miss.
Okay, and it is afraid of Istin and Mag, and yet it is maybe not smart enough to do anything about it. It's sort of smart enough. It's going to try to... It sees that Ao is in a bad situation.
Wait. It's now used its 3 actions.
You're absolutely right. I'm a cheater, and I'm done with my turn. It is now Trill's turn as my attempt at cheating ends. What is Trill going to do?
Trill's going to soothe.
Okay.
I think Trill's initial response was going to be to cast Courageous Anthem because we're struggling a bit. But she sees Ao about to go down against this thing that she absolutely detests, that she's terrified of, and her initial response is, I have to save my friend from these wisps. This is her nightmare. So Trill's going to go ahead and cast a 4th level Soothe on Ao.
Wow.
Because she's going to go big. I think this is just where she is. So that is 27 points of healing to Ao.
And let's throw a hero
All right.
point to Trill for that.
Aw.
And you have one more action.
The scared little gnome in the corner. And for her last action, I think Trill's gonna, she's gonna aid Istin with an attack with performance. She's gonna play, even though she didn't cast Courageous Anthem, she's gonna flavor Courageous Anthem to help him.
Okay.
So Istin will yell, "Thanks, Trill! I love this one." His toe starts tapping.
She plays a says a Scottish. Wow, words.
Scottish song, like a My Buddy Valentine song or something like that. You play okay.
A Scottish reel.
Oh man, only shallow.
That's the word I was going for.
Sometimes.
So Trill blesses Ao with some occult soothing energy, sets up to aid Istin, and it is now Istin's turn.
I think he's gonna just start things off right off the bat with a strike at the injured wisp to the north of Ao and try and focus on that one.
And Trill aids, right?
Yeah.
With a 38 performance check.
That is an easy critical success, meaning that Istin is going to get a +3 on this attack roll.
Yes!
Awesome. Yeah, he's really feeling the groove and kind of like bobbing and weaving to the beat.
It's like a Kaylee. Oh, thank goodness you past the DC.
So I got a 12 on the flat check.
Yeah.
And I got a 21 on the attack.
Well, +3.
Man, this is so brutal.
That'd be a 24 with a +3.
I have a hero point. Can I re-roll that? I'm gonna use a hero point and re-roll that.
Okay.
It's time to.
Move it along.
It's among the most heroic things you could do to put us out of our.
Oh! Actually, with the Trill's +3, it's a 24. So 27?
27 hits on the button.
Yes!
Woo!
Yes!
Oh, that felt so good.
That's what aiding is for.
Oh my god, I love it when a hero point works out, even though it probably shouldn't have.
When an aid actually makes a difference.
That's great.
Huge difference.
everything
That
about
was
that.
the deciding factor. Holy crow.
Okay. F this
all
guy
right,
up.
let's roll damage. Oh, not a great roll. 13 damage.
Another big chunk as you bash this wisp.
I'm going to use another one of Istin's studious spells for Sure Strike. So I think after this, he's out of Sure Strikes, but this definitely feels like the time to do it.
And remember, Sure Strike lets you ignore the flat check on concealment. So this is this is good.
Everything keeps coming up, Istin. God, I should have known that would jinx me. 23 to hit?
No. 23 misses, dodges, and weaves out of the way.
All right, that's Istin's turn.
Istin lands a big hit against one of these wisps, and it is now the turn of the final wisp of the round. It is going to target Ao with another shock. That is a fucking fumble card.
This is like, we're getting to like the fall down preschool
Right?
Yeah.
3 of clubs, everybody.
How
Here's
many
what
banana
happens.
peels can we slip
3
on?
of clubs, 3 of clubs. Below me, I become dazzled. I can't see anything now. That's cool.
You sneeze.
There's a mirror underneath me, and I look at it and
pepper
I'm like,
everywhere.
what is, there's a bunch of pepper in my face. It sucks.
The
Level 5
Kalinis
pepper.
Level 5 pepper, I'm dazzed. Here comes another shock strike on Ao. That is a 26 to hit, and I pass my flat check on the dazzled.
That just hits. My AC is 26.
Okay. That is 14 points of damage, which is actually 18. And because of your weakness, and I'm going to float away towards Trill.
That
Can't
would
mag.
trigger a reactive
Mag.
strike from Mag. Here
I'm really
is
glad I
as
healed
well.
AO.
that reactive strike from Mag. Oh, cool.
Oh my god.
That's a 1 on the die on the flat check, and then it's a 1 on the die for the attack.
Hey, it's the King of Spades. You know what that means? King of Spades. Something above you, reduced all your speeds by 5 feet. I don't think that stacks. Forget about it.
There's a
what else
scuff mark on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Mag's,
The pepper coming down from the
Mag's
ceiling.
shoelace catches on the ceiling.
Is Isthin going to make a strike also?
Yeah, he is. Thank you.
Please, dear
You
God.
gotta, make pepper while the mills are grinding. Oh my God. 4 on the flat check, so I don't think it matters what his hit roll was.
It does not matter. Here we are, top of round 4, and we are going to finish this encounter up this round. I guarantee it. It is Mag's turn at the top of the round, and the situation is largely the same, except that the fight is still going. That's the one difference from last time. Mag, what is Mag going to do? David.
Well, the first thing Mag's going to do is move. Not as fast as she would have, obviously.
Yep.
with one shoelace affixed to the floor and the other to the ceiling. Mag pursues the wisp that headed to the west side of the room toward Trill.
Great.
She takes up a position here, which flanks the thing.
Yeah, can they be off guard? They can
Yes,
be
they
off
can.
guard.
Absolutely.
It's a 33 to hit
That hits. Easy hit for Mag.
and 24 damage.
Yes. Here we go. 24 damage. Mag does it. She kills the second to last wisp.
Second to last. Whew.
All right.
Thank you.
I've got another action, so I will set up to aid Isthin's next attack.
With what?
Yeah, I'm gonna toss a rock for Isthin to bat out of the air with his staff and do some extra damage.
I think it's absurd, but I'm going to allow it because we need this. We need this to happen. It needs to happen. It's now Ao's turn. What is Ao going to do?
The scroll that Ao pulled out last time is a very exciting level 1 force barrage scroll, but I think she's frustrated enough that she just wants to end everything that's happening. I know I am. So if I'm going to project onto her, so she is going to try and cast force barrage at the lone remaining wisp.
All right, 3d4 plus 3 force damage. Let's do it.
Oh, truly horrible damage roll. That's 8 damage.
Rank 1 force barrage ain't what it used to be. Ao, frantic, in desperation, unleashes darts of force onto the wisp in front of her. And that wisp is going to respond on its turn by attempting to demoralize Ao. It tries to frighten her.
I mean, she's already demoralized. You can't demoralize her more.
I know.
Flavor demoralized.
That is a 25 versus your will DC, which I believe is a success.
That is a success.
Which means that you are now frightened, and I get to use my feed on fear technique.
Oh, stop.
Which I start slurping up fear. I get some hit points back as it washes around you, sending shivers down your spine. Its glow reignites, meaning that it is now no longer invisible, and it is then going to try to strike Ao.
She's just screaming now. It's super unhelpful.
Okay, don't wake the children, please.
That's a 35 to hit.
That's a critical hit because of how sad and scared I am.
Oh no.
That is 26 points of damage to Ao.
All right. I'm still standing, not by much.
Okay. It is now
Oh,
Trill's
man.
turn.
Without Trill's Soothe, that would have been really bad.
Yeah.
That soothe is
true.
big.
Yeah.
It is Trill's turn. Trill sees Ao get hit again. What is Trill going to do?
This is enough. We're done here. And she's going to pull out her level 3 force barrage and send all 6 darts at that last will-o'-the-wisp there. And that's 21 points of damage.
21 points of damage is enough. Shoom, 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 shoom. bolt after bolt of force courses across the room, weaving between Mag and Istin and Ao, finding its target on this wisp. And it sprays this residue all over the place and is now dead.
Trill collapses on the ground.
So this wisp, more of this residue falls to the ground, and this room is now silent, as it looks as though the four of you did not meet the same fate that these Calignes that tried to enter the room did. So what do we do next? It seems like maybe you guys want to do a little healing. I don't know exactly what the story is.
I imagine we should make sure at least Ao's not nearly dead before we leave the room.
Okay.
Seems
So,
reasonable.
Doctor, heal thyself.
Zoe, if that sounds good to you, would you give me? We'll spend 10 minutes healing, and we'll figure it out from there. But would you mind rolling that medicine check and letting me know who you're healing?
I'm going to heal myself, and I think Mag is the only other person who got injured.
I am a little dinged. Not bad.
Okay. So how much healing do you do over these 10 minutes?
18 points the first 10.
Okay. So as Ao is administering this medicine to herself and to Mag, I kind of want to ask you a question. You see this like light, sort of this strange residue left behind by these wisps as you look across the room. Do you guys know where you've seen something like that before? Do you remember seeing anything like that at the scene where the Star Watch was attacked?
There was some residue on the ground. Wasn't there?
Yeah. I think you saw some on the pier,
On
right?
the pier. When we first came out of the elevator.
So this is our first clue about that, which is that in addition to the body of a Star Watch agent, there was also signs of a wisp's having been dispatched in the same place.
Oh.
Yeah.
So maybe the wisp frightened the Star Watch agent, and in trying to flee from it, that's how they hit their head or leapt and hurt themselves.
Ooh,
right.
yeah.
Right.
But if there was residue, that means someone had to have also, they fought the wisps.
Yeah.
Right, and they
built
won to some degree.
Do you guys remember how these wisps were looking at you kind of like giant eyeballs as you walked into the room?
No, I don't remember that one. But they were like giant eyeballs when we walked in the room.
Yeah, they were like tracking your motion around the room. They were watching you. They were looking at you.
They're like watch wisps.
Yeah.
So that makes me think back to the wisp with the kind of scrying bowl connected to Belcora with the watching, as though it's like it's a closed circuit camera or something for Belcora.
Right.
Totally. Yeah.
Does that give you any ideas about what might have happened to the Star Watch?
I see. So if you put all that together, they came in here, they walked through some space or other, whether it was this one or another one nearby, that was under Belcora's wisp surveillance. And then
They were picked off.
that alerted the powers that be to their presence. Something got them, whether it was the wisps themselves or an additional agent.
Bogged mummies, maybe.
Say again?
Bogged mummies, the little
Right.
dead dudes we saw there that were the Calignes referred to them as Belcora's children.
You may remember them as our cheering
I
crowd.
do, yes. They were very enthusiastic. So Belcora may know that they were here, is, I guess, the most pessimistic.
Feels like she was sending out troops to deal with the invaders.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And as you consider this idea that maybe the Star Watch had a run-in with a wisp that had something catastrophic happen shortly thereafter. You see a faint blue energy reaching out from behind this door here. That faint blue energy reaches through the door, and you see that it's the fingers of a hand. And an arm reaches through the door, and you see a nice-looking dress with black and white stripes going around it. And a few moments later, a figure steps through this door, floats through this door in a ghostly way. It's a woman. She's
Nothing
wearing
terrifying
this
about that.
tailored silver and black dress and a custom-made
It seems
black
like a
hat.
blue and gold dress.
I'm flavoring it differently.
I'm it's an old bit online.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Yes, sorry.
The dress.
The dress.
And she has this custom-made black hat. Mag, you recognize this face. Actually, all of you recognize this face. It's the same face that Mag saw in the bowl downstairs.
Oh, boy.
Or upstairs.
You hear a howl upstairs. You hear a howl escape her lips. I see you. Stay away. This is Belcora Haravex. Roll for initiative.
Yikes.
Wait, what?
Roll for initiative.
Wait, what?
And we'll pick up from there next time.
Wait, what?
Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy, using trademarks and copyrights owned by Paizo that are covered under that policy. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way, and we are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. All original characters and content in the Roots of Ruin are the property of Tabletop Gold, and all rights are reserved. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. On our website, tabletopgold.com, you can learn more about us and our shows, pick up great merch, and connect to the best online community in all of podcasting. Thanks for listening.